It's been a week since the Taliban seized power in Afghanistan after the U.S. withdrawal has started to take place in that region. Now, since then, we've seen this staggering video of Taliban militants patrolling the streets wearing U.S. military gear. That's according to Reuters. The Taliban also believed to be in control now of more than 2,000 armored vehicles and up to 40 aircraft. Aircraft including U.S. Vehicles, U.S. Humvees, also attack helicopters, military drones, rifles galore. Joining us now to discuss, Marine Corps Major Nick DeGregorio, who served in Afghanistan in 2014. Major, good to see you, and thanks so much for coming on and for your service. How armed would you say the Taliban were before the withdrawal versus where they are today?
Well, yeah, thanks so much for having me, Sean. Really appreciate it. And at the end of the day, the Afghan army had the 5th most helicopters in the entire world when you rank and stack the number of U.S. military forces that exist on planet Earth. So there are about 160 helicopters. I'm actually not even that concerned about that. I'm more concerned about the drones, about the night vision, all of the state secrets that we've now just given away to the Taliban. 20 years ago, they had none of these things, and now all of a sudden they're empowered with these items. They're not simply going to use them for themselves. They're going to pass them along to China, to Russia, to our enemies. And so that's the fundamental issue we're dealing with now.
And the makeup, the science behind it, the intelligence behind it, that's where a lot of critics are concerned in regards to giving that intelligence to our foreign enemies out there. They could possibly build what we have. Maybe they don't have that information. In a letter to President Biden, Montana Senator Steve Daines says this, that since 2002, the U.S. has provided more than $82 billion in equipment, supplies, funding, and training to the Afghan army. Okay, he writes this, though. I ask you to explain to the American taxpayer your plan for preventing this equipment from being used for terrorist attacks, propaganda, and funding to mitigate sensitive equipment from falling into the hands of our adversaries for intelligence or reverse engineering purposes, end quote. Goes to the point you and I are talking about. Is there any other way to do this? We seem to be quietly negotiating with Taliban leaders to possibly extend the deadline. Is there a way to say, hey, maybe you should give us our guns back? Maybe you should give us our choppers back. We're going to come in and get all those things.
Yeah, I think the time for that is completely past. I think President Biden, in his ultimate desire to bring the Taliban into the liberal world order, has now put us in a position where we're never going to see these items again. I think China and Russia and Iran probably already have these items. They're already reverse engineering them. We're in a place right now where we are less safe. 20 years ago, we went into Afghanistan and said, we want to rid the world of the Taliban. We want to make sure another 9/11 can't happen again. And really what we've done is we've simply empowered them and our other enemies who are probably going to be using this against us very soon. I have a 4-month-old son. I worry about his safety one day when he's of military age.
And when you talk about your personal experience with that as being a father, obviously you've served in Afghanistan. Personally, to you, a 20-year war, you see this botched withdrawal. How does that resonate in your mind?
I mean, I look at the people who serve in Washington, D.C. right now, and I think that when you look at the makeup of Congress, it's 18%, 75% a generation ago in the 70s and 80s. I think there's just not enough subject matter experts around the table. That's why we quagmire ourselves into these 20-year wars. And I think the next time we decide we want to get involved in an existential conflict, we should have some people sitting around the table who know what the heck they're talking about.
Talking about Washington, House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff yesterday was asked if he thinks Biden can meet that August 31st deadline in 1 week to withdraw and make that possible. He didn't seem very optimistic. Watch.
Given the logistical difficulties of moving people to the airport and the limited number of workarounds, it's hard for me to see that being fully complete by the end of the month. And I'm certainly of the view that we maintain a military presence as long as it's necessary to get all U.S. persons out and to meet our moral and ethical obligation to our Afghan partners.
Right now, some 5,600, 5,800 soldiers there still on the ground in Afghanistan. Schiff talks about our moral and ethical obligation, end quote from him. Should the Biden administration have weighed that before going ahead with the way they executed this withdrawal? Final thoughts from you.
Yeah, of course. And I think the real moral ethical obligation is the 10 to 15,000 U.S. Citizens that we still have in Afghanistan across the country. We need to figure out a way to get those folks out. The Taliban and al-Qaeda are the kinds of people that cut your head off on television. We have an obligation to help our American citizens out, and I haven't seen a plan yet, and that's destructive to me.
Major Nick Gregorio, who has served in Afghanistan. Major, good to see you, and thank you so much for your candid responses. We appreciate it. Have a good day.
Thank you so much.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.